Good afternoon, friends. Welcome to this afternoon session. This is the new edition of our counseling session, which we are conducting regularly for MA Arabic students. It is our proud privilege to welcome each and every one of you to this afternoon session. As usual, we will be having this session, and we are joined by Dr. Tufail Ahmad. First and foremost, let me try to greet you in Arabic. Masa al Khairi wa marhaban bikum. So I hope I have got it right, and
Yes,
it is my proud
absolutely right.
privilege. Thank you so much. And it is my proud privilege once again to welcome Dr. Tufail Ahmad, consultant at the School of Foreign Languages. And yeah, today we will be covering, I think, MAL 002. That is the
Mm,
study
No,
material
it
that we'll
is
be covering. Pardon me,
no,
sir.
sir. It is ML003 Modern
Zero
Arabic
zero.
Poetry today.
Yeah, 003. I'm
Yes,
sorry for that. And
yes.
to take you further on this task of understanding Arabic poetry, let me leave the floor open to Dr. Tufail Ahmad, and I'll definitely intervene at the end when question and answer sessions will be taking place. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Tufail.
Dr. Rajesh, please let me join again because there is some
Yeah,
issue with the
sure, no
camera.
problem. Yeah,
Okay.
no problem. Dr. Tufail will be joining once again. There is some technical problem with his camera. So, as you are aware, the sessions have been going on continuously. And I am sure by this time you would have got a clear understanding of at least some of the basic aspects of Arabic. And I request you that when you feel like, please do visit our YouTube channel and also go through all the previous sessions again and again so that your understanding is broadened. And we have been receiving a number of messages and mails, etc., regarding various aspects from many of you. And to the best of our ability, we are trying to meet your expectations. One of the aspect that has been discussed often is the aspect of study material. Recently, Dr. Mohammad Salim has already sent the soft copy of another set of study materials to you. I hope all of you have received it. And if you have received it, definitely do start using them because the study material for the time being is being sent from Dr. Mohammad Salim in the form of a soft copy. The hard copy has not yet been prepared by our material production and distribution division. So please bear with us for some more time. And once the hard copy is available, it will be dispatched as per the schedule of the MPDD or Material Production and Distribution Division of ICNO. So we shall now wait for Dr. Tufail Ahmad to join once again. So now you are. Oh, big name boy.
Hello.
You are audible, sir. Please continue.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Thank you.
So thank you, sir, for your patience because of this technological glitch. I was not able to join. Anyway, now it worked, so I think it will be fine. So thank you so much, Dr. Rajesh and Dr. Parmila Humim. Dear learners, so today's unit is about it is modern Arabic poetry, which we will discuss today. The aim of this unit is to provide you guys with the history material that is at the master's levels in modern Arabic poetry, and it is also in an easy to understand and interesting way. And also the aim of this unit is to present a variety of easy and beautiful examples of poems of Ahmad Shauqi, Hafiz Ibrahim, and Maruf al-Rosafi in such a way that attracts the learners to conduct their further studies on these three poets, Arabic poets. And also the aim of this, the objective of this unit is to pave the way for the learners to delve into deep study of modern Arabic poetry and also the most important collections of these three poets. And also the objective of this unit is to expand the students' linguistic repertoire of vocabularies, literary phrases, and encouraging them to use in their speeches and writing. So dear learners, today we'll discuss about the modern Arabic poetry along with three prominent Arabic poets. They are Ahmad Shauqi, Hafiz Ibrahim, and Maruf al-Rasafi. So dear learners, the modern Renaissance in Arabic poetry is considered a phase, or you can say an era, in the history of the Arabic language and literature. And also, it is an extension of the previous literary eras or literary phases, which were known as the pre Islamic period, or Islamic period, or Umayyad period, or Abbasid period, or thereafter of backwardness and decline. The modern Renaissance in a poetry did not appear alone, but also it is an integral part of the entire modern Arab Renaissance. And with regard to the modern Renaissance in Arabic poetry, it begins with the phase of awakening, which is also known as the phase of intellectual and expressive jargon. And its pioneers were Amir al-Jundi in Syria, Ismail al-Khashab in Egypt, Nicola al-Turk in Lebanon, Abdul Ghaffar al-Akhras in Iraq, and many other poets. Then came the phase of conscious imitation. And if you look at its pioneers, you'll find that there were Sheikh Nasif al-Yajizi, Mahmoud Sami al-Barudi, Aisha al-Taymuriya, Khalil al-Khori, Ismail Sabri, Ahmad Shauqi, Hafiz Ibrahim, and of course, Maruf al-Rasafi and other poets. And also this period is known as the period of revival, or you can say the period of resurrection. So with this phase, which I have mentioned you, this phase came after the phase of the first awakening, in which new generation emerged that benefited from its contact with the West. As I had already told in the previous counseling session, that many Arabic poets and writers who came in contact with the West, and they reproduced a literature in Arabic which is were quite good in quality and quantity. So it opened the eyes to itself and the history of its nation, and began searching for the reasons of its backwardsness, the factors of stagnation in its society, and the weakness in literature. When these poets or these writers, Arabic writers, they came in contact with the West, they also look for these reasons why they are not as at par with them, with the Western writers. And this generation did not have a creative model to imitate, to emulate. So what they did, they went back to the Abbasid period and they chose the best part of poetry. Since I'm talking about the poetry in this class, in this session, so I will be focusing on poetry more than on prose. So what they did, they chose the best part, the best form or the best part of Arabic poetry and began to imitate it. And they also introduced new topics, new themes into the mold of old and solid poetry, and added to that sweetness of the old and delicacy of the new civilization in an atmosphere of similes, metaphors, and so on. And the poem then below with this generation in its traditional course with one parameter and one narration. And we chose from this generation of Arabic poets only 3 poets in this unit. The prominent one is Ahmad Shawqi, and then Hafiz Ibrahim, and then Maruf al-Rasafi. Firstly, let me talk about Ahmad Shawqi. Ahmad Shawqi, he was raised in a wealthy family, and his family was prominent and well connected with the court of Khadiu of Egypt. What is Khadiu? Khadiu was an honorific title of Persian origin used for the sultans and wazirs of Ottoman Empire. But most famously, it was used for the viceroy of Egypt. So his family was already connected with the courts of Khadiu of Egypt. Ahmad Shawqi, upon graduating from high school, he attended a law school and obtained a degree in translation. And then he was offered a job in the Khadiu court, who was the Khadiu of Egypt. And after a year working the court of Khadiu, Shawqi was sent to continue his studies in law at the universities of Montpellier in France. He was heavily influenced by the works of French playwrights, most famously and notably Molière and Racine. He returned to Egypt in 1994 and remained a prominent member of Arab literary culture until 1914. In 1914, Shawqi remained. When he returned to Egypt in 1927, he was crowned as, or he was nicknamed as Amir al-Shura. This was the biggest title, as biggest sobriquet, or you can say nickname, which was given to Ahmad Shawqi. That is Amir al-Shura. It means the Prince of Poets. Why? This title was given to Ahmad Shawqi in recognition of his considerable contributions to the literary field, especially the poetry. And if you look at his literary works, you would know that Ahmad Shawqi's work can be categorized into three main parts. The first coincides with the period during which he occupied a position at the court of Khadiu and consisted of eulogies to the Khadiu, praising him and supporting his policy. Second phase was comprised the period of his exile in Spain. During this period, his feeling of nostalgia and sense of alienation directed his poetry talent to patriotic poems on Egypt as well as the Arab world. And the third stage, a third phase, you can say, was occurred after his return from the exile. And during that period, he became preoccupied with the glorious history of ancient Egypt and Islam. This was the period when he wrote his religious poems in which he praises the Islamic prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And the maturation of his poetic style was also reflected in his plays, the most notable of which were published during this period. So basically, his literary works can be classified, can be categorized into three phases or three periods, which I have already told you. And if you look at his plays or his drama, in the drama session, I had already told you that there are two types of dramas. One is tragic, and the second one is comedy. So Ahmad Shawqi, he wrote both the type of plays or dramas. The first one, if I look at, is the death of Cleopatra. Cleopatra. This was the tragic drama, tragic plays, which Ahmad Shawqi wrote. The death of Cleopatra, Majnun Layla, the Mad Layla, Antara, Ali Bey al Kabir, and Cambyses. Second, Cambyses. So these are five tragic plays which Ahmad Shawqi wrote, and there was two comedies which he written. First one was Astittu Huda. Dear learners, there is also saying, some of you may be knowing this fact, that Astittu Huda, how to write the Astittu al Huda, Alif Lam Sin, long ta, Astittu Huda. Huda is the name. Astittu Huda means Miss Huda. But when I was in the college, someone of us read it as Alastu Huda. So Astittu Huda became Alastu Huda. Am I not Huda? Alastu Huda. So be careful with the language, because sometimes it's omitted the meaning of that word. So dear learners, Astittu Huda, this is the real name, Astittu Huda, Madam Huda, not Alastu Huda. And the second comedy plays which Ahmad Shawqi wrote was Al-Bakhila, the Miserate, Al-Bakhila. And in order to this prose, he has also written the Princes of Andalusia. Princes of Andalusia. And if you talk about his poetry, then he has written Ash-Shawqiyat. His diwan, one of his diwan is Ash-Shawqiyat. His selected works in 4 volumes, including the Nahj al-Burda. Nahj al-Burda, it is a poem, and it is also considered to be a tribute to our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So Ahmad Shawqi wrote Ash-Shawqiyat in 4 volumes. And the second is the states of Arabs and the great men of Islam. And the third one is poetic stories and for children. And while writing this poetry, he was inspired by the famous French fabulous Jean de La Fontaine. He also wrote some prose, which he collected under the title of The Markets of Gold, Aswaquz Zahab. Aswaquz Zahab, the markets of gold. So this is his prose, writing prose, literary works in prose. So dear learners, this was all about Hafiz Ibrahim Ahmad Shauqi, in which he contributed a lot in Arabic literature, especially in poetry. That's why he has given the title Amir al-Shura. He was given the title of Amir al-Shura, the prince of the poet. And the second literary figure which we have chose in this unit is Hafiz Ibrahim. Hafiz Ibrahim, a very well-known figure and well-known Egyptian poet of the early 20th century. He was also given a title of Poet of the Nile, Poet of the Nile, Shairun Nil, Shairun Nil, or Poet of the People, Shairu Shab. So these are two titles given to Hafiz Ibrahim, and it's very important to remember these titles of these poets. Sometimes it might be asked, Amir al-Shura for Ahmad Shauqi, Shairun Nil, Poet of the Nile, Hafiz Ibrahim, Poet of the People, Shairu Shab, also for Hafiz Ibrahim. And these titles were given for his political commitment to the poor. His poetry took on the concerns of the majority of ordinary Egyptians, including women's rights, poverty, education, etc. So basically, these are themes on which the poetry of Hafiz Ibrahim is mainly focuses on. He was also one of the several Egyptian poets who revived the classical Arabic poetry during the later half of the 19th century. While using the classical Arabic system of one mizan and one rhyme, these poets rose to express new ideas and feelings which was unknown to the classical poets. Hafiz Ibrahim is also noted for his writings and poems and political and social commentary. And if you look at his career, you'll find that Hafiz Ibrahim, after graduating in 1888, he was attended the military academy and graduated 3 years later as an lieutenant. He was then appointed by the Ministry of Interior and was sent to Sudan as part of the Egypt and Sudan mission there. Hafiz Ibrahim and several of his colleagues were involved in a rebellion against the mistreatment of the Sudanese. That's why Hafiz Ibrahim was sent back to, earlier it was court-martialed and sent back to Egypt. And in 1911, Hafiz Ibrahim was appointed at the head of the literary section in Darul Kutub al-Masriya, where Darul Kutub al-Masriya, the Egyptian National Library. He was appointed the head. Here he began to devote his time to the literature, to poetry, and he also joined a circle of neoclassical artists of modern Arab poetry, such as Ahmad Shauqi, Mahmoud Sami al-Barudi, in imitating their Arabic classical writing style of one balance and one rhyme. And if you look at his works, Hafiz Ibrahim produced abundance of literary works. For example, Al-Basuka Dima Fawqa Dima. Al-Basuka Dima Fawqa Dima means they have dressed you in blood upon blood. And the second one was Ya Sayyidi wa Imami. Ya Sayyidi wa Imami. O my master and Imam. The third one is Shakartu Jamila Sunaikum. I have thanked you for your favor. I have thanked you for your favor. Miss تتكلم عن نفسها. Egypt talks about herself. And the next one was لي كساء أنعم به من كساء. لي كساء أنعم به من كساء. I have a dress, and what an excellent dress it is. قل للرئيس أدام الله دولته. This is the next one of his literary works. قل للرئيس أدام الله دولته. Tell the president that God has extended the line of his state. So these are the many poems, including poems and literary works written by Hafiz Ibrahim. He also written a very famous poetry about on Arabic language, اللغة العربية تنعي حظها بين أهلها. This is the title of the poem, and this poem is also included in this unit, and definitely I will talk about this unit, and I will explain this extract of poetry of Hafiz Ibrahim for you. So don't worry, I will explain the first one for that is for Hafiz Ibrahim, Al-Lugha Al-Arabiya. And the third literary figure which is included in this unit is Maarb al-Rusafi. Maarb al-Rusafi, he was a poet and educationist and a literary scholar from Iraq, and he is considered by many as a controversial figure in modern Iraqi literature because of his advocacy of freedom and opposition to the imperialism, and it's known as poet of freedom. Shairul Hur, poet of freedom. Maarb al-Rusafi is known as Shairul Hur, or poet of freedom. Maarb al-Rusafi has written so many pieces, one of his which was important towards society and politics. One of his poems, a praise to the development of the future. This is a very important poem of Maarb al-Rusafi, a praise to the development of the future, talked about how people are too proud of their history rather than developing their future. He says that we always talk or praise our history, but we do not focus on the development of our future. Maarb al-Rusafi also was acquainted with the Western literature through Turkish translation, and his writing career started while he was in Istanbul by way of socio-political articles in journals such as Al-Muqtataf, published from Syria. His first book of poetry was Diwan, and this book was released in 1910. Rusafi, who is also credited with adding ideas and values to the modern Iraqi poetry, Iraqi Arabic poetry, he has written a wide range of topics such as nationalism, society, politics, and reforms. And his contributions in the field of Arabic poetry are classified into publications and manuscripts are so huge. First, he wrote a divan. This is a collection of poems in 4 chapters. And this book was published in 1932. And the third edition was brought about in 1952. And 6 more editions have been published since then. And the second literary work which Maruf Rasafi produced was Al-Anashid Al-Madrasiyya. Is also a collection of poems. He has written this in 1920. Al-Ru'ya, it is a novel in Turkish. Later, it has been translated into Arabic. And Madrasatul Adab Al-Arabi, this is a book and also a collection of his speeches. And it was published in 1921. Tamaim al-Tarbiya wa Talim, this is also a collection of poems. Risale Taliqat, this is a 3-volume work published in 1944 in Baghdad. Al-Adabi al-Sijni, it is a critical study of Maarb al-Ala fi Sijnihi. It is a book written by Taha Hussain and published in 1947 after Rasafi's death. Rasafi was not able to publish this book. However, Taha Hussain has published it after his. And beside these literary works, beside these books on prose and poetry, Maruf Rasafi also had so much manuscript which needs to be researched upon and looked into by the research scholars. So these three figures, literary figures, and considered to be the pioneers of modern Arabic poetry, has been included in this unit in order to make you guys, you learners, you guys make you acquainted with what type of poetry they produced, what type of poetry they made during their span of time. So guys, let's focus on these three literary figures along with the modern Arabic poetry. So in a nutshell, if I want to say, I can say that this unit, we have covered now 3 Arabic poems. We have covered in it 3 Arabic poems. And we also provided the explanations of the difficult words, even though they are in Arabic. And along with the difficult words, we have also provided the description, explanation of the poetry which we have included in this unit, so that you people can understand them. And even though if you have any difficulty, you just put it in the chat group, WhatsApp chat group. Definitely we will assist you. So the first of these poems is Ghab Balloon by the Prince of Poets. Who is the Prince of Poets? Is Ahmad Shauqi, of course, Ahmad Shauqi, who visited Paris in search of knowledge in the time of his youth. Then he visited her in Middle Ages, and his longing led him to go to the famous Ghab Balloon. I will definitely describe and explain it to you. What is Ghab Balloon? Ghab Bolunia. Resort to renew the memories of his beautiful past, and during this last visit, he wrote his famous poem entitled Ghab Bolunia. So this is actually the background behind the writing this poem Ghab Bolunia. And this poem contains the poet's past memories that began to flood him upon his arrival. And the poet began to interact with the resort as if he were a human being. Ghab Bolunia, you can say it is a resort, or you can say it is a garden. Ghab, Ghabatun, Jama Ghabat, Ghab means jungle. Here it is a garden, or it is a picnic place or resort, you can say. where he asks himself some questions and expects some answers. He interacts with this garden, Ghabolunia, Amashauqi. And this poem is characterized by contemplative thought and a strong poetic style. And the second poem is entitled The Arabic Language Mourns Its Fortune Among Its People, which is written by Hafiz Ibrahim, Shairun Nil, and Shairu Shah. This is the title given to Hafiz Ibrahim. First one is Shairun Nil, the second is Shairu Shah, poet of the people and poet of the Nile. So Hafiz Ibrahim he spent his life raising awareness of the greatness of Arabic language and the necessity of adhering to it. He was a lover of it. Of it means of Arabic language, and defended it in front of the torrent of opinions and ideas emanating from intellectuals, thinkers, Orientalists who were seeking to marginalize it and turn it into a Latin letter. While many Arab countries were under Western occupation, this was happened. And in these very difficult circumstances and difficult times, Hafiz Ibrahim wrote his immortal poem that speaks in the tongue of the Arabic language and expresses its complaints in an interesting and strong manner. And the third poem is entitled Nursing Widow by the great Iraqi poet Maarb al-Rasafi. This poem is basically considered one of the masterpieces of Arabic poetry in the Renaissance period. Al-Rasafi wrote it in tears when he learned from his friend about this widow who wanted to fund the plate for 4 pastors to feed her 2 orphan sons. Rasafi had no choice but to join her and give her 12 pastries. At that, Rasafi owned was his, in his pocket. So the widowed lady took the coins while she was in a state of hesitation and shyness. To his home, his heart squeezed with pain. He could not sleep that night. He wrote this poem with tears in his eyes as he explained with his pen. So, dear learners, this poem, if you look at it and go through it, you will find that this poem embodies an honest expression of a social problem. The poem urges to do good things, and the style is beautiful and very attractive. So, dear learners, you are required to, or I would request you to just go through this unit first. Before reading out or before going through this unit, I would request you to first try to learn the difficult words and then go through the units, because this unit is about poetry and you cannot understand fully unless you know the difficult words. So I would request you to first go through the difficult or to learn the difficult word meanings and then start reading this unit. It will definitely benefit you a lot. And if you have any issue, any problem, any ambiguity in the poetry, in the explanation, you may reach out to us. Definitely we will assist you, we will help you. So let's see the first Arabic poetry, the first qasida, which is Ghabulunia le Ahmad Shauqi, because Ahmad Shauqi is the prince of the poets. He is the prince of the poets. Amir al-Shura, Ahmad Shauqi, and his famous qasida famous poetry Ghabolunia has been included in this unit. So guys, I'd request you to open the unit and see the poetry Ghabolunia, the first one, the unit Ghabolunia. The poem is Ya Ghabulunin wali dhimamun alayka wali uhudu. And if you don't have the units, at least you can listen to me carefully. Ya Ghabuluni wali dhimamun alayka wali uhudun. ماذا يقول الشاعر هنا؟ الشاعر ينادي، الشاعر أحمد شوقي هو أمير الشعراء، ينادي غابات بولونيا أي حديقة بولونيا كأنها شخص يدين له بالعهود والأمانات. The poet Ahmad Shauqi, he calls the forest or the garden of Bologna as if someone owes him pledges and trust. يا غابولون ولي ذمم عليك ولي عهود زمن تقضى. See the next استنجا زمن تقضى للهوى ولنا بذلك هل يعود. The poet says, many years that were full of love and passion have passed under the shade of the trees of this garden or this resort, and they have become memories, and memories do not return. Memories do not return. And here is a metaphorical question. Hal yaud? Will the memories return or come back? So, dear learners, it is a metaphorical question. Means it is not possible. See the next istinja. حلم أريد رجوعه ورجوع أحلامي بعيد. حلم أريد رجوعه ورجوع أحلامي بعيد. The dream may not come true. The dream which I want, I wish to return. So the poet says the dream may not come true. So how can it come back? It cannot come back. Even though I wish that it should come back, but it cannot come back. This is impossible. وَرُجُوءُ أَحْلَامِ بَعِيدُ. He says this is impossible because time never comes back. وهب الزمان أعادها هل للشبيبة ما يعود. وهب الزمان أعادها وهب الزمان أعادها هل للشبيبة ما يعيد. The poet says, suppose, dialectically suppose that a ghab balloon, a garden of balloon, that the time has returned back or come back. So will my old body, hal li shabiba, shabiba means this old body. So will my old body return to that stage of youth? Of course, this is also impossible. Unfortunately, it is impossible. يا غابولون وبي وجد مع الذكرى يزيد. يا غابولون وبي مجد مع الذكرى يزيد. Oh garden of Bolon, oh Bolon garden, when I came to you again, there was a burning sadness in my heart, and the memories inflamed it more. يا غابولون وبي وجد مع الذكرى يزيد. There was a burning sadness in my heart, and the memories inflamed it more. خفقت لرؤيتك الضلوع وزلزل القلب العميد. My strong and heart upon which I relied and which was fixed between my ribs was shaken and turbulent when I saw you, because of my intense longing and love for this dear place, for this dear place. خفقت لرؤيتك الزلوء وزلزل القلب العميد وأراك أقصى ما عهدت فما تميل ولا تميد. The poet further says, but the admonition does not help. وأراك ما أقصى ما عهدت فلا تميل ولا تميد. But the admonition does not help, for Bulun was cruel. Why? It was a cruel-hearted and not ready to fulfill my wishes, and perhaps more cruel than what I knew, and did not want to change anything of reality and would not fulfill my dream. كم يا جمال قساوة كم هكذا أبدا جحود. The poet says, is it possible that you don't love me back? Is it possible that you don't love me back and be rigid and hard on me? Why deny all the good days I spent in your shadows? And further says, هلا ذكر الزمان كنا والزمان كما نريد. Don't you remember? هلا ذكرت زمان كنا والزمان كما نريد. Don't you remember? He just addresses the Ghabulun and says, don't you remember? هلا ذكرت. Don't you remember, O Ghabulun, the beautiful days when the days were at our command? So we achieved everything we wanted when we were young. نطوي إليك دجى الليالي والدجى عنا يزود. So we used to come to you at night and watch over your land, forest of or garden of Bolun. We would reach you in the dark nights, and that protected us. نطوي إليك الدجى الليالي والدجى عنا يزود. فنقول عندك ما نقول وليس غيرك ما يعيد. He further says that we have revealed our secrets in your land. فنقول عنك ما نقول means that we have revealed our secrets in your land. وليس غيرك ما يعود, and only you know them, not the others. نطقي هوى والصبابة حديثها وطر وعود. So I used to speak only with the words of love and adoration, and the speech of my beloved was playing on sweet musical instruments of great beauty. نطقي هوى والصبابة وحديثها وطر وعود. Yes? The speech of my beloved was playing on sweet musical instruments of great beauty. نسري ونسرح في فضائك والرياح به هجود. نسري ونسرح, we used to go out from morning till evening in your white land and pass the time till the wind fell asleep and everything was asleep. والرياح به هجود, and everything was asleep, even the wind fell asleep. والطير أقادها الكرى والناس نامت والوجود. Even birds were forced to sleep by sleep. Humans fall asleep and all creation sleep, except I stay awake with my beloved. فنبيت في إيناسي يغبطنا به النجم الوحيد. Very beautiful line. See the learner and try to grasp the idea. We used to spend the night in the forest of Bolun, so nice and so gentle that a star in the sky was rejoicing our joy and looking at us, wishing us well. في كل ركن وقفة وبكل زاوية قعود. The poet further says, and we used to sit in every corner. في كل ركن وقفة, and used to sit in every corner. وبكل زاوية قعود, and lean on every wall of yours. and we have many memories. نسقي ونسقى والهوى ما بين أعيننا وليد. نسقي ونسقى. The poet says, we used to meet loved ones and exchange words of love and good feelings with them, and they also exchanged such tender feelings for us. Love was simple, and sometimes it was a coincidence. Walidu hadisul ahad means coincidence. فمن القلوب تمائم ومن الجنوب له مهود. Mahadun جمع مهود. We had given our hearts to love in order to ward off the evil of envy as if they were amulets. And we had subjected our bodies to be a source of passion and a safe place like the bed of an infant. ومن الجنوب له مهود والغصن يسجد في الفضاء وحبذا منه السجود. The charming nature made the trees bow with gentle breezes as if they prostrate to God, Almighty God, in order to glorify Him and praise Him. How beautiful is this prostration. وَحَبَّذَا مِنْهُ السُّجُودُ. How beautiful is this prostration is. وَالنَّجْمُ يَلْحَدُنَا بِعَيْنٍ مَا تَحُولُ وَلَا تَحِيدُ. The poet says, and the star always stared at us. The star always stared at us out of the corner of his eyes and never turned his eyes away from us. Ma tahulu wala tahidu, never turned his eyes from us. Hatta idha da'at an-nawa fadbaddadat shaml an-nazidu. Nawa, idha da'at an-nawa, when the studies are something that is compulsory to do something, or you can say it is a journey or country. But unfortunately, when our studies ended and our country, or you can say our journey called us, we had to return. So our harmonious and homogeneous gathering was dispersed. Ashamul Nazid, homogeneous gathering or harmonious gathering, was dispersed. Faya bitna wa mimma bainana bahrun wa dun al bahri bidu. Bidun, baida bid, desert. Bitna, bata yabitu means रात गुजारना, to pass time. Night time. Bitna wa mimma bainana bahrun wa dun al bahri bidu. In the forest of Bolon, we should have lived far from you, between barren deserts and mighty seas. Al-Bahr, mighty seas. Laylun bimisra wa layluha bil gharbi wa huwa biha sa'idun. Very beautiful line, dear learners. So my passion for meeting you, Layla bimisra wa layluha bil gharbi wa huwa biha sa'idu. So my passion for meeting you and meeting my beloved became like Layla's passion for her lover, Al-Qais bin al-Maluf. But far from it, Layla lives her life in Egypt and her lover in the land of Franks in the west, and he does not want to leave her because he is happy with her. So dear learners, this is the expression of the first poem included in this unit, and there are two more poems, one for Hafiz Ibrahim and the other one is for Maruf al-Rustafi. And I am just leaving these two poems for you guys to look into, to go through it, to learn the difficult words, try to understand the explanation, and try to understand these two poems of Hafiz Ibrahim and Maruf al-Rustafi. And if you people have any difficulty in understanding these two poems, please let me know. You can just put it on WhatsApp or you can just mail me on my mail. I will explain it for you guys. The first poem, which is Qasida Gha Bolun, which I have already explained to you. clearly, and hoping that you people also look into this units. You should first try to read out these poems carefully and correctly, because if you do not read it correctly, you will not be able to understand it. If you want, I can just repeat it for you. See the poems only this time so that you can read it yourself correctly. يا غاب بولون ولي ذمم عليك ولي أحود زمن تقضى للهوى ولنا بظلك هل يعود حلم أريد رجوءه ورجوع أحلامي بعيد وهب الزمان أعادها هل للشبيبة من يعيد يا غاب بولون وبي وجد مع الذكرى يزيد خفقت لرؤيتك الضلوع وزلزل القلب العميد وأراك أقصى ما عهدت فما تميل ولا تميد كم يا جماد قساوة كم هكذا أبدا جحود هلا ذكرت الزمان كنا والزمان كما نريد نطوي إليك دجى الليالي والدجى عنا يزود فنقول عندك ما نقول وليس غيرك من يعيد نتقي هوى وصبابة وحديثها وتر وعود نسري ونسرح في فضائك والرياح به هجود فنبيت في الإيناس يغبطنا به النجم الوحيد والطير عقد هلكرا والناس نامت والوجود في كل ركن وقفة وبكل زاوية قعود نسقي ونسقى والهوى ما بين أعيننا وليد فمن القلوب تمائم ومن الجنوب له مهود والغصن يسجد في الفضاء وحبذا منه السجود والنجم يلحدنا بعين ما تحول ولا تحيد حتى إذا دعت النوى فتبددت شمل النضيد بتنا ومما بيننا بحر ودون البحر بيد ليل بمصر وليلها بالغرب وهو بها صعيد. So dear learners, this is for you guys, and I request you to at least go through this unit 2 times, 3 times, and also request you to please submit your assignments and your the fourth course, which is a project, on time before 31st of March of this year, so that you can be able to form your examination form as well and prepare well before attempting the exam. I request there are 27. I have already mailed you all the I think units except 3 units, which is on translation, which is pended. I think it will take 2 or 3 days, and within or maximum within 1 week, definitely I will be sending you these units to you guys. So don't worry. Now you have 24 units with you. So just prepare yourself for the exams, which will be conducted in June. So, and don't worry, if you have any query, question, let me know, and try to first understand these poetries, these 3 poetries, and just be relaxed. Don't worry. If you prepare well, definitely your exam will be fine. So don't worry. This is from my side, and if you have any question, please let me know.
Thank you for that very incisive session. In fact, a lot of understanding regarding the poetry and literary activity of the various periods of Arab literature has been explained very well by you. And we all have gained a great deal because much of the discourse was in English. So we also could understand quite a lot of what was being stated. So thank you for enlightening us on this aspect. In fact, we have a few questions.
Okay.
The first question that is there, I will just display it on the screen.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, this is the question. Mukhtar Jani is asking, please explain the central idea of Al Hasana.
Al Hasana means the beauty, beautiness, beautifulness, beauty. Al Hasana. The Al Nisa Al Hasana. Al Hasana. What are you talking about? You are talking about the poetry or something else? Arya, it is a one word. Al Hasana. Mukhtar. It is a word. Are you talking about the poetry? If you're talking about a word, it means beautiful. Al-Hasana.
Okay. Maybe he was referring to the central idea. If, is there a poetry by this name? Because he is asking for the central idea.
Mukhtar,
Yeah,
can you
he is
please
asking
tell
for.
me it is a poetry or is the word?
I think there is.
Mukhtar,
I think someone else has given an additional point. I think he is asking about poetry.
Al-Hasana, is it in the unit? See, the third poem written by Maarb al-Safi, it was about uh, a widow, a widowed woman. So it is not about the Al-Hasana. Al-Hasana, it is there in the unit. I didn't see it. That's why I'm asking. It is a particular. It is a poetry. It is a name of a poetry or something. If it is a word, then it means only beautiful. Al-Hasana.
Okay. I think maybe they can come back later, and maybe they can also mail
Yes.
you personally if they
Yeah, yeah,
have
yeah.
doubts on this.
Definitely.
And another question that has come up is this one: in which language should the answer be for this? So it's from
See,
Simran.
you have both the options. I have already told you. If the question is you are supposed to answer in Arabic, you are required to answer in Arabic. بما يتميز شعر عمر أبو رشيد أجيب بالتفصيل. What is the merits? What is the characteristics of the poetry of Umar Abu Risha? Discuss it detail. Ajibu bitafsir, discuss it with detail. So you need to write the merits of his poetry. What is the main characteristics of his poetry Umar bin Abu Risha? This is the question from all the experiment. Which language should we write? Okay. You have options. See, see the question first. If it was asked to answer in Arabic, you need to answer in Arabic. And if there is no specification, then you can write in English as well.
Okay, I think that has been made clear earlier also. So
Yes, yes. Yeah, definitely.
thank you for making that clear once again. In fact, Arshia, she's saying that she does not know which unit it is from, but the poetry is there.
See, I'll have to look at whether it is what is the it is a part which is a complete poetry of and this is the main topic of that. But the actual meaning of this word is beautiful. Al Hasana.
Okay. Maybe we can discuss about it in the next section also.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because
But in
we'll
the
have
I think in this unit is not there. It may be some other places. I'll have to look at it.
exactly. Then there is another question which has come here, that is regarding assignment to RC Mumbai. It is better that you contact RC Mumbai and find out for yourselves. The regional director or ARD or other staff at RC Mumbai will be able to help you with this. We at our end cannot say whether you should send it by email or through post. Please call up RC Mumbai and ask them which mode they prefer, and accordingly you can send it across to them. Then another question. This is something about which we cannot do anything. Please change the exam dates to July every year, because in GCC we have vacation on July, or we can't attend the exams. Unfortunately, this is not something that is in our hands. IGNO conducts around 200 or even more programs, and for all the programs, the exams are conducted at a specific time period. So, individually, there's no way that we can alter the examination dates. Whatever is fixed by the student evaluation division is final, and we have to take it as it is. We individuals or regional centers or anyone, the university does not have any right to change the examination date. So kindly bear with us. We do not have that option. Then another question. Okay. Uh, this is another issue. I heard there are no evaluators in RC Mumbai. That see,
This is not
that
your
is
headache. You are just supposed to send your assignment to the respective regional centers, and it is their headache what to do. They will
yeah,
arrange
yeah.
the evaluators and each and
They
everything.
will
So
arrange.
don't
That's
worry
what
about that.
exactly. So that is exactly what is to be done. You send it to RC Mumbai, ask them which mode they would prefer it to be sent in, and send it across. They will do the needful. Then Arshia is once again, I think she has some doubt in assignment 3, question 4. Not sure what exactly she wants.
Arshia, can you please put up your question in detail?
Yeah.
Arshia,
Arshia, please put up this question in detail. Assignment 3, question 4. What exactly do you want in that?
can you put that question so that I can just reply
Yeah.
it?
Yunus is saying that maybe in the study material which has been sent, Unit 12 of Course 2 is missing.
Yes, as I've already told you that 3 units is still in progress and definitely will be completed within 2-3 days. And after
Okay,
that, I will send it to you. 12,
fine.
unit number 12, unit number 21, and I think 22. These are 3 units still in progress.
Okay. I think Ashia is talking about the poetry Al Hasna.
Arshia Al Hasna is there in this unit. If it is there, then I'll have to look it. I've already told you that the meaning of this word is beautiful. Al Hasana. Maybe Al Hasana, Imratun Hasana, a beautiful woman, a Bintun Hasana, a beautiful girl, or maybe some other things. But I don't have any idea right now. Definitely, I will look for it, and then I will tell you. But in this unit, it is
yeah,
not available.
yeah. I think she's talking about some other unit. Maybe
Yeah,
I am
maybe.
sure in the next session maybe we can
So
discuss
just
about it.
wait. Definitely, we'll discuss each and every unit. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's it. So these are the questions. Those are available with us today. So I don't think there are any more questions which are lined up. So thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us this afternoon, and we will meet soon. The sessions have already been lined up. So as per schedule, we'll go ahead. And thank you for giving us this
See,
wonderful
there is
opportunity.
one technicality. I think on 8th it is Holi here in Delhi. So is it? I think Salim sir also saying that it is not possible to conduct a session on that day.
Okay, fine. We will look into it,
So,
and
yeah.
if that is a
So
problem, we will
the next
reschedule it.
session will be on 10th. On 10th, and definitely we will try to manage it.
Sure, sure,
Maybe
sure.
some other day.
That is definitely there. It just skipped out of our mind because in our part of the state,
Uh,
Holi is not celebrated that much in our part of South India. So maybe
okay.
that skipped out of our calendar. But we will definitely reframe that.
Okay. No issue. So
Yeah,
the next speaker is Mr. Salim sir. He will be taking the next session, and after that, we'll try to conduct another session for the
sure.
uh, second second course.
Definitely, we will do that. And thank you, sir. Thank you for joining. And I also thank all the students for joining this session and asking very interesting questions as well. So we will meet soon, and most probably on 10th we will meet once again. So thank you. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Rajesh. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ma salama ila liqa.